B-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. We have a special, awesome, amazing guest today. All of them are great, but very rarely do they reach the refined air as the one we have today. We have Brice Milleson, all the way from the great state of Ohio, and we will get to that interview right after these messages.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media and subscribe at benandtravis.com for the free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living.
I'm Travis Creasy, that's Billy the Speed Goat, and that's all-pro counselor Ben Hayes.
And that's all pro videographer Brice Milleson, who is with us today. And Brice is the guy who makes us look decent.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we can say we look good, but he makes us look decent at the CYC stuff.
There's some impossibilities out there.
I mean, I try.
But he gets us there. He gets us as close as we'll ever get to looking good. And we certainly appreciate it. Brice and his wife, Leah, made the trip a couple of days ago down here to the land of cotton and down here in Alabama to film some more CYC videos. I don't even know how long you've been doing this. But either way, we appreciate it. Everyone that sees the videos appreciate it because otherwise it wouldn't look nearly as good. So.
Everyone who saw the videos before Brice and then sees them now really appreciates it.
So we thought we'd bring Brice on and squeeze every bit of his time away from Ohio on us. So it's great.
Fine with me.
So Brice, what do you do for work when you're not goofing off with us?
I've been doing video work for, I don't know. I'm 30 now, for probably coming up on 12 years then. I think I started when I was trying to do the math now, roughly 18. Yeah. But my main job is I still do video work, but I do it mainly for a YouTube channel that has a large car collection. So I produce videos every week for this family that has a car collection. It's kind of a lifestyle thing, but it's fun.
Cool. I've seen the work. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's always neat to think. Of course, I grew up in the 80s where car chases were the stuff. Like, you didn't have an action film if there were no car chases. And so I was thinking today on my way driving down from Tennessee, and you look in the side mirror on the truck and you get that 80s shot of the side of the car, but you see the road behind it's just a classic shot. I don't know. In fact, I went and watched the recent Batman movie just because of the car chase scene that they showed. So they hooked me on that. So that's great. You do great work. We speak to that. We'll continue to speak to that. And at some point, you reached out to us via Twitter.
Was it Twitter?
I believe Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
And, you've said very nicely that you liked the material, but you thought you could help us out. And I remember getting that message and going, well, there's no doubt that you can help us out. I hadn't even seen anything that you'd done. But the fact that you had the guts to go, hey, I think I can help you out, meant that you were going to improve the product. And then, of course, the response came back, I can't pay you anything.
Yeah, that was the very first thing you said was like, well, we don't have any money. Like,
we have zero
we don't
money.
have a budget for it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I know. It's all good.
I know. I can tell. Yes, I've watched your videos. I can tell you have no budget for it. So,
but I knew, obviously I knew that, you guys were it was so funny. It was, I don't know how old I was.
We've been doing that for a while. Yeah, for
we don't have to bring
several more years than probably you've been helping us. We were doing it.
What I didn't know when I met you two was how much older than me you actually were. That was the funny thing. But
because we act so mature, right?
Absolutely.
I think we should get some benefit because there's a lot of people our age who would not have been like, yeah, come on, and accepted your, aka your offer, and then also the coaching that you gave us. Yeah. And there were a lot of people stuck in their ways, when we were like, please help us unstick from our ways.
No, I just knew like it had good bones. We'll say that. The bones were
Nice.
there. You guys were so funny with what you had and what you were doing that I knew. I'm like the material is written itself. Now we just need to add a little spice to it.
Well, we try to
Take
hit
it over
the helping, healing humor. That's the name of the podcast, and maybe sometimes we skimp on one or the other. But this episode is definitely going to be heavy on the humor because we're just going to have a lot of fun. So, Brice, we're going to put you on the spot here. We met through CYC.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we met via Twitter through CYC.
Yes, I knew you. You just didn't know.
Yes, exactly. And so you live in Ohio,
Mhm.
and you've made. Well, I guess we'll have to do the math. How many trips down?
At least I want to say at least 5.
Yeah.
No, Youth Go Potty and Eyelids. Was that the first?
Yeah,
trip?
Lift Up
I think
That
so.
Eyelid was first. Was that the same year?
I think so.
Did we do
It
those
was the same year. I think it
I
was
think
two
so. I think it was just those
infomercials.
2.
Two classics.
So we had some stuff. You said the bones, right? So
Mhm.
Spiritual Mayhem. I know we had done a bunch of those,
Yes.
and I can't remember. Like I said, we'd have to go back and look at the DMs, all that stuff. Which one you finally were like, I've seen enough that I've got to help these guys out. Well, whatever it was, we give credit to that.
Well, I can tell you what it was. It was they were so, like I said, they were so good and funny, but it was the commercial ones. I don't know if it was progressive or whatever it was. It was that whatever is easier than a
Oh,
so
yeah.
and so and with the guitars.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I just remember I thought to myself that video, like, it was so jank.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like the mic was like barely worked.
Yes.
It was just like
Yeah.
it was
And we
blown
had-
out. Yeah, it was
We
like
had like a stage
Yes.
made of like 2x4s.
Well, anybody out there knows that there's levels to this thing, and so I think at that point we were like, they're janky.
Yeah.
We know they're janky.
Mhm.
We might as
Just
well
just
live in
spice
that
it up.
frame.
Live in the
And so we
jank,
went
yeah.
over the top, and now see the unintended consequence of that is Brice was like, I've got to have mercy on these people. Like I've got to help them out and help us out. You have, and our most watched video of all the times is the Lift Up Thine Eyelids.
Which
And I
was
think
such a good idea.
Like
by the way.
19,000 views at one point, or maybe more than that. I think it may be in the
Wow.
20,000s.
That's crazy.
So yeah, you got
It's
Ben,
crazy to think about that.
Ben
many
as the
times people have
crazy
watched.
infomercial guy. So how do you get into that world, Ben?
Oh, man.
What kind of preparation? Lose weight, gain weight.
Just-
The Christian Bale.
Just got to get psyched.
Do you walk
know?
around for weeks
Yeah.
going infomercial?
He just
Nah,
thinks
just-
about was it Chris Farley? Just brings out your inner Chris
Yeah,
Farley.
just gotta. Yeah, just throw it out there. I mean, it's just you might as well get excited. You might as well.
You gotta own it.
Do the best, yeah. So just get a high pitch that voice just a little bit more, get it up a little bit, get people excited, and just throw it out there. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to entertain the people, the masses,
Well, you entertain
the
us.
masses of 5 or 6 people.
That's the thing. We really get together on weekends like this to entertain ourselves, and we hope maybe we throw something against the wall that sticks.
I mean, I'm thinking one day somebody's going to hear my infomercial, and I'm going to get to do a real one.
yeah,
It could happen.
That's right.
That's
You
what
are
I'm-
replacing Billy Mays.
let's
You're
make it
replacing
happen.
him.
Somebody out there listening, all 50,000 of you, we're just gonna throw a number out
Yeah,
there.
Is
That's
this the number one
completely
podcast in the world?
outlandish.
getting real close.
We're coming after you, Joe Rogan. I know you're
I think this is the
scared.
number one podcast in the world.
Uh,
I mean, we have had 100,000 downloads.
Yes, we have.
So,
That's pretty good.
I mean, we'll
there we
take it.
go.
it's more than what I've had.
So we got the infomercial guy.
Mhm.
Ben's done. Dr. Ben Hayes, churchatologist.
Church
What else have
tolerages.
you done, Ben?
Ooh, well, I mean, going
the
back,
recent years,
yeah, and going back to the other stuff.
You're always playing the preacher.
Yeah, I'm usually the preacher in the skits with that would be the referee skits.
Mhm.
You're the referee. You're Spiritual Mayhem. You're the science
Yeah,
guy
scientist.
scientist in the
Coming soon, professor.
I'm about to be a professor.
Yeah,
So
Professor Justin.
Yeah.
Justin
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah.
but I like
No,
the
sorry.
Ju-
No, you're good. You're good.
Incredible.
yeah, just incredible. So I really like your I really like the science guy that you throw out there. So
Well, y'all
Yeah, I don't
usually,
think there's a whole lot of other
usually
ones
on the
that I
science guy, y'all are trying to goof me up. Like
I'm
you're
trying
mess
to
me
give
up
you
because there's
the
stuff on the
best
board.
lines I could possibly give you.
I guess the toughest lines I've ever delivered is the trying to remember the animal
Centaur.
names
Yes.
that Blake Holloman comes up with for me to have studied
The
communion
Crimean
on or something.
centaur.
Yeah, the Crimean centaur.
So we talked about probably what a chupacabra at some
Yeah, a
point.
black bearded fire tiger.
Yeah,
I've heard
the
that one
black-bearded
before.
fire
That one
tiger.
sticks out. So Brice, what do you enjoy about this process? If you're like me, it's not the editing necessarily.
No. So what I enjoy the most is definitely the filming aspect. It's fun. It's fun getting down here and actually doing it with you guys and laughing along with you. And we always change it up as we go. I despise editing, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, not that I'm not going to enjoy editing your faces and doing this video, but in general, I enjoy filming and I don't know.
But you do an awesome job editing because there's so many times that I'm like, I don't know how that.
I don't know.
That didn't land
I don't know
exactly.
if we brought our best this time.
Just fix it in post. That's what I always
I'm
say.
thinking like I don't think that really sounded the way it sounded in my head when I was putting it down on paper, and then when we get it, it's like, oh, that's even better than it sounded when it was on paper.
I can tell you
the sound effects, the little things that you throw in there.
Well,
makes it worthwhile.
Almost what I don't necessarily always tell you, but I think maybe I have because I'm just too honest. Every single year I've been working on this, finishing it up like the night before Friday CYC or literally Friday morning about whatever.
Yes.
I've probably pulled an all-nighter almost every single year, finishing it, just getting it like perfect or whatever.
Dedication right there.
But or procrastination.
And that's exactly what we used to do when we would go to CYC is we would pull all-nighters just to get a video done.
The only person other than our wives who have seen our face more is Brice.
That's probably
he may
true.
actually
Maybe
see it
more.
more.
I think Leah has heard it probably just
Heard
as
all
much as
that.
everything, just
She's
in the
probably-
background.
Could you turn off those voices?
I've heard them all. Please.
That's
Give
amazing.
us mercy.
Yeah, editing gets real repetitive, and you have to
Oh, yeah.
get used to just hearing the same thing over and
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes, I feel your pain. I am a huge fan, and maybe this is giving too much away, of Infomercial Ben. That's my favorite character that we've ever done is Infomercial Ben because it's so goofy and over the top.
I think I'm excited this year more for the product.
Yes.
More than any other year.
yes.
Products, yeah.
Yes,
I think
the
it's a good
product.
It's a good product.
It's a solid
product.
product.
And some of our other products have not been real products.
And it's the greatest product ever.
It is.
I mean, I can say that with
legitimately
all honesty, the
It's a great
greatest product ever.
So, who would you say is your favorite character? Because this indicates who you think is your favorite actor. So that's the way.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
what got me into it? I know I said like, what was I don't want to say the last straw, but what made me really want to do it was obviously the guitar bits.
Yes.
I just forget what the topic was, but
yeah.
What got me into the most was Travis doing Spiritual Mayhem, because my favorite scene is when you were I think it was I assume your wife or your girlfriend or whatever at the time. I assume your wife.
Pushing all over his face.
You're laying there on the she's sitting on the pew and you're laying looking up at her and you're going buzz 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 and you're shaking your body and you are the smartphone that she's using.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was so funny to me, and I was just like, I want to keep doing that. That's fun.
The one you keep talking about with the guitar is Hey Travis. How excited are the kids to come to CYC?
Yes.
And they're more excited than a deer on a rope swing and some of the
It was just some random video.
Well, it was random video, and the other one was more. I think there was the pig, the wee 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 wee.
Yeah.
And then my kid. There was a couple of videos of my kids being excited about going to Disney World.
I just remembered something. That wasn't the moment that I loved the most, but that was funny. It was the computer.
Oh man!
Oh,
it was you. Were acting like the computer.
Yes, and he was in my face.
We almost didn't survive that one. That is one. If you watch the video that we kept, you will notice that Ben is locked in because there was only about 50 takes of that one because I would lean into the camera into his face, and finally it got to the point where I couldn't move, he couldn't move, and I had to just deliver the line as straight faced as possible because he's like trying not to die. And so there's a blooper reel out there that year, and it's
of 100 breakdowns,
where
probably.
Ben's like,
That was the moment I was like, I gotta do something with these guys. This is so much fun.
yeah, and it has been.
That's
It's been
that
great.
was one of my favorite old ones too. Is just the in the face, because he's sitting on the desk.
Yeah.
And he's
You
just
were
like,
sitting Indian style
Yeah.
on the desk, looking bent directly in
going-
the face.
He's hitting the buttons as hard as he can to keep from losing his mind.
And then we sort of did that in one of the Spiritual Mayhem videos, the new ones, right? I remember
Think
we filmed something on your counter. He was sitting on your counter.
Oh yeah, that was the what was that one?
Was it the political one?
No, it was the
No.
one that went with it. It was the social media. It was a social media post or something.
There's one where I'm sitting on the table with the apple in my mouth, and
Yeah.
Destin's taking a picture of
Yeah,
it.
that was a
but-
different one too. That was
That was pretty good.
Spiritual Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And,
been
I,
some
and
fun
I don't
ones.
know that we explained it very well, but Ben and I, most of you probably know, are a comedic duo, or we try at CYC, and we started making videos, I think, 2008, 2009, and I cracked a rib
in
the
very
first
video.
year, and then we made them throughout, and then eventually a young Brice Milleson came to CYC and was like, these guys need help, and we're thankful for that help. So
Well, I appreciate you letting me do it. There was I will say there's probably a hint, just a hint of selfish reasons in there too, because I thought I was like, this would be pretty cool to make some
Oh, yeah.
videos for thousands of people
Well,
get
sure.
to
Yeah.
see it and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And that's always been a cool payoff, is to see everyone's reactions, because you get a live reaction.
well, I was telling you earlier, CYC Dallas this year, I don't know what it was, but they were excited. It's almost like it's finally kind of taken root there, that this is not necessarily something to be excited about. They've been excited, but man, it just seemed like they were fired
next
up
level.
this year. Like
Yeah.
they knew what to expect. They kind of were familiar with us. And then the videos played, which technically at Dallas, they're a year old or just about a year old,
Spoiler alert.
and they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. So, I
Well,
thought
and
it was really
the
neat.
weird thing about, I mean, not the weird thing, but I guess the great thing about Dallas is, like, we're the last thing on Friday night.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's everybody's been traveling, everybody's tired, and they could literally just go, we're going to bed and
Yeah.
leave. But they stay and keep the thunder going. I mean, we played a game show and we sang, and I mean, they were all into it, and then went. So we're charging you guys at CYC
the
Pigeon
challenge, the
Forge,
gauntlet has been
challenge
thrown down.
is,
gauntlet's
you know,
been thrown
come
down.
with the same fire and
Mhm.
intensity.
That
So,
energy.
and I will say, Brice loves to see the reactions of people. So, you know, anybody who creates wants to entertain. I mean, that's the reason that you create. And so he always asks if he's not able to be there, like, film the reaction of everybody.
Yeah, I know. I was
wanna
so bummed.
see it.
I was so bummed the big COVID year or whatever, we didn't make it, and it was just like, I asked Ben, I'm like, can you just record it on your phone? I want to see people, you know, I want to hear
Yeah.
people's reactions and see the reactions and everything. I mean, and you kind of hope that it's not. Of course, the whole point is that they're funny and that they mean something, you know.
Mhm.
And we're not trying to be overly serious. We've done one serious
Yeah.
one, but like I would hope that it would make someone at least just stop and think about it for a minute,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, maybe something could come from it.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is brought to you by Heritage Christian University. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. We aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. HCU produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and a Master of Divinity. HCU is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu.
Dun, dun,
From now on, this is what we're doing.
Dun,
This is what we're
dun,
doing.
dun, 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 dun.
So scared right
Question
now. Okay.
of the day.
All right. The Heritage Christian University question of the day. You got to give me your top three.
top three.
Top 3. If you can get it down
Videos?
to one of the Brice Milleson years.
Of just the Brice Milleson years.
And that'll help maybe knock it down some. But I'll go first.
Boy,
And
that's
then
tough. That's tough
whoever
to
wants to
me.
jump in. And maybe I trigger some, memories there. But one that's hard for to beat. I've always said I like the infomercial guys. And so one that's hard to beat for me of the quick hitters is the preacher's ego.
Yeah.
Because that is so true. Every guy who's ever, and maybe even like been on a stage or in front of somebody, there's always somebody that's going to come and they're going to say something they feel is nice and is well-meaning, and usually is well-meaning, but there's always some kind of like a little knife twist there. And of course you got Will and you got Lindsay and you got Emmy, really little Emmy. But the referees are fun because the whistle, the flag, and I've always, as a football coach, like poking fun at officials. But you get the little, we didn't even need to lift up thine eyelids, and any of them that reference an other Ben and Travis video is up there for me.
Makes your day. So it is probably nostalgia more than anything because it was the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
But Lift Up Thine Eyelids is probably still my favorite.
It's well, the idea of it's so good.
So
because we can all relate, man. I cannot tell you how many times when I was probably more younger than now, of just like, you look over and it's like, I'm praying. I'm just praying.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I'm just praying.
It's just like, you're definitely, obviously we're not praying, but struggling to stay awake. So I could have used them. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think that one's at the top, and then really, really close would be, I'm trying to decide between, if you're just numbering them, all the Mayhem videos are just great to me. I love the Mayhem, and I love the referees, but that covers pretty much all our videos.
You might want to be a little more specific than that, man. No, but lift up on eyelids.
Yeah, that's definitely
counts. And maybe we'll make another go. I don't want to steal all of the videos that he could possibly choose from.
I
gave just genres, which is all of them.
So one thing that's tough is I feel like I'm always going to have just a little bit different, a perspective and opinion on it, just because I enjoy the process of making it, and things that I care about. Like I love the way certain videos visually turned out, beyond just what the content was. And one of them I like a lot is the Legos one. Just the way we shot that, and the final shot when Travis gets up and is off to frame a bit, and it's perfectly balanced, and you're in the background dancing around, and then throw the Legos and walk off screen. I loved how that one turned out.
Yeah, that was a good one. Forgot about that.
It turned out better than I expected it
to. It gets tougher.
But like I said, I just go back to the Spiritual Mayhem one that you guys made, because that's what made me want to do this. It was so good.
I'm gonna go out of the, and maybe we just do one per genre. But if we're going out of the infomercial, Youth Go Potty is so hard to beat, because I'll be honest, I like pushing the line of what you can get away with, and Ben wrote that one very masterfully.
It was so good.
When you're standing out here behind the little whatever welcome thing that y'all got here at Highland Park, and they're throwing the stuff at you, they're like and then when you do the business, and Blake Holloman
dropping it,
which is a nice little touch. Mwah. That's some classic Ben and Travis.
I think one of
Brice Milleson
one of my favorite scenes. Obviously, I think we all have a favorite scene that involves a cup. But the other favorite scene is us trying to imitate kind of an office shot when Will's in his office using it, and we kind of sneak through the door and kind of
nice.
And he notices. Then we run off,
Yeah, the cup slapping. That's on a different one though, isn't it? No, that's it.
Youth
That's
Go
Youth
Potty.
Potty. There are you mentioned that one was on the fringe with me with Lift Up Thine Eyelids, but I thought those were 2 different years. The fact that we did both of those in 1 year. That was hard. I can't believe we've actually continued to do it.
Well, it was.
How do you even top that?
I think that was the year. It was either that year. It was the first or second year that
that's wild.
We spent the whole day each
day.
It was like we were worried we weren't going to get it done.
Yeah, it was
took a lot of time.
And then there's this one's a little long to me. I think it turned out a little long, but there's some really classic scenes in The Awake You Sleeper too.
Oh yeah.
I think, some of the,
Morning
especially Lonnie's
Princess.
voice
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in,
Perfect.
and we're hoping Lonnie has a good recovery from just his mess this weekend. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it by now, by the time this comes out, but that Lonnie voice coming over.
Oh, yeah.
Good
It's
morning,
funny.
princess.
I remember I was at the time I was working at my church doing. We had a sound booth and I was working in it, and so I was spending a lot of time there, like nights on weekends or whatever. And I was sitting there at the church building at like midnight. We're talking Thursday night, before CYC, putting that together. And I was just like, when I found like just the certain music that I wanted and Lonnie's voice and the look, it was giving me chills. I was like, this is perfect. I loved putting that together.
Well, the
Yeah,
many
that's great.
genres, like nobody's coming to CYC going, Ben and Travis and Bryce are going to put a little horror film on you.
No,
And that's,
like,
that's what you get. I mean, like I'll show it to kids at Riverside in broad daylight with, of course, the lights out for the effect, but
Like, that's
they're all
creepy.
like looking around like they were not ready for that
No.
hard hitting
It's got that like jumpy
horror film to it, but it was great. It was good.
It's awesome.
Well, what was and I just forgive me, I don't know all the kids' names that were helping us out, but whoever it was it Jackson that did that one though?
Yeah, it was Jackson.
Okay, well
that did
there
that one,
was some other kids in the youth group
Yeah.
at the time that killed it. I'll
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
some
they
of
were
the
in
ones
that
that
video.
did lift up that eyelid, like Sam,
Yeah.
and did Ben and Sam in that one? I think South,
It was
and then Wesley. Wesley was the one who's had the real country voice in it. He says something about he's got the tape on his eyes,
Yeah.
and he's got a little bit of a country voice. It
Of
was
course,
awesome.
last year we went hard in the paint on youth group transfer portal. I mean, we're kind of getting
And that was fun.
a little edgy, and it was
was.
fun.
It
It was
was.
fun, and all things that we've experienced. That's what's funny.
I'm not sure any of them that I've had more comments on one and more shares on one as maybe as quickly as it did as last year's the Lord's Supper trays.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I got a bunch of comments. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like older people going, "Look, I totally relate to that one.
Yeah.
Like I get it." So I think
I
that
think
would
of
hit- I think
the
that would hit well.
spiritual mayhems. I'm going with Keyboard Warrior, our political post, whatever the name
That was
is,
a good one. Yeah.
Mhm.
because man, that one just kicked me in the face, and I think it kicked everybody a little hard, and the sound effects, the bam, 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 bam,
Yeah, that
which is
one lives
perfect.
on.
And the fact that we quoted Morgan Freeman and used Thomas Sowell's face. It wasn't
Which
even
was
either one of their
wrong on
quotes,
two
but
accounts.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
so
was not even-
so I
it wasn't
love
even
stuff
either
like
one of those
that,
quotes.
the little stuff that you catch. And then one we haven't mentioned is the online, like the online worship where
Oh yeah.
you caught on tape Ben throwing the flag back at me, or somebody throwing the flag back
Yeah.
at me, and it catches my whistle and slides off the back and brings the whistle up to my throat.
And it was
in
all
the
like
video, and it was
perfect,
all
yeah.
that was all by accident.
Not planned at all.
Not
so.
planned, but
It's great when little things like that.
Oh, I
happen.
love that was fun. What was fun about that was that we had to, we had your daughter and your daughter's friend in there, and we're like, all right, just act like you're not paying attention. And man, did they do a good job?
They did a really
like
great
they-
job with that. Yeah.
like they've got a lot of
I
practice.
know. But I
awesome.
I gotta say I love the ending of where they're in the bedroom and she's texting or something.
Yes. Can we
And-
get the mirror shot?
Yes, the mirror shot
social media, yeah.
That was
worked
good.
out so well.
It was good. Yeah.
That was so cool.
So Bryce,
Yeah.
are we coachable? Brought us
Well, do you want
along
the
a little
truth?
bit. Yeah, sure.
I
So,
think early on, I have in general, by the way, not just you guys. I used to be like a major perfectionist with this stuff, but it just it's probably to a fault at this point. And
brought him
I think
down.
I've chilled out.
We brought him down to our level. Welcome to the dark side.
I've
Bryce.
chilled out both in my main job, my main work, and kind of what I'm doing here too. So it's like I think I've been less involved in the creative side of it and just kind of let you guys do your thing, and we're gonna make a fun video.
See what he
regardless.
thought was he was contacting us to help us, but what really was happening was he knew, or somebody knew that we could help improve him
Absolutely.
and get that little bit of OCD worked out.
You have
we can
humbled
take
me.
that.
I'm
you know,
sure Leah
more
has
chill.
appreciated that, right?
Well, it's one of those things. It's like I think in my mind, like, no, that's not the way that's supposed to be, or this needs to be perfect. And it's like, there are 10,000 people at CYC, and 9,999 of them are not going to notice.
And the best part is they're all there to have a good time for the most part.
Like
So they're there to laugh, they're there to enjoy it, and hopefully we add to that. I know it's only been increased by Brice's presence and helping us out, making it look great.
And we're just blessed to be able to do CYC, to do Maywood, to do this podcast, just to know that somebody's out there listening, and we just hope somebody's helped by it.
And it's a journey. The fact that our paths, other than that, I don't know that our paths would have crossed at all.
No, I don't see why they would have.
To see God use that, if it's not only just for our mental health and having a good time and enjoying each other's presence, but I'd be willing to guess some other people have enjoyed it too. And you listening to this podcast probably comes from that as well.
Thank you for letting me do this with you guys. Again, like you said, I think it's perfect. It's cool to see how the Lord works and who you get to meet and what things can come from it and everything. It's always amazing to see.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.